Hey, what's going on, brother?
What's up, Wayne? How
Hey.
we doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm fan-freaking-tastic. Awesome.
Fan-freaking-tastic. So, we kind of started this, at the beginning of the month or toward the end of last month, we started the whole Mandalorian with the trailer,
Yes.
right? And what did you think about the trailer? Does the trailer meet the expectations of the first episode?
I think so. I mean, the thing with the trailer for this season versus the trailer for the first season is that we know what the show is now.
Right.
The first season, we didn't know what the show was. It's like, okay, Mandalorian, Star Wars was on the decline because of the movies, and we're like, okay, let's see what this is. It turned out to be awesome.
Yes, it really did turn out to be awesome. But I discovered something coming into this one is that this episode left me with more questions than it did answers.
No, it didn't leave me with. I mean, it left me with questions, but not more questions.
Left me with more questions. Yeah, no, it left me with more questions than it did answers. Coming into it, I think I expected a more clear direction as to where we were going, and I think that they did the Lucasfilm spin on it, and they kind of gave you this unclear, and especially all the reviews I was reading. So I read a lot of different reviews from different bloggers, from different people who thought they were sneaking in it. And we got Chris that just joined us, so we're gonna throw him in there real quick. Hey, how are you doing, bud?
What's up?
Sorry, lost track of time for a second there.
It's okay, it happens. So I was just telling JKL that this one had left me with more questions than it did answers, and it's got a lot to do with all the blogs that I read, right? So I read a whole bunch of them, coming into this season, of different people that gave you their ideas on what we were going to see, and the so-called leaks that we're forever getting from everyone, right? And I think that this went a total different direction than any leak or any blog or anything that you thought was coming. So I'm just kind of going to ask you, what did you think about the graffiti there at the very beginning?
See, I didn't rewatch, so I didn't get a good look at everything, but I did see a stormtrooper. It looked like Darth Vader, might have been a C-3PO up there. Yes. So it was kind of like an homage, and at the same time showing that, okay, these people don't like the Empire, because a lot of the Empire stuff had red marks through it and stuff like that. So I was kind of like, okay. So when I rewatch, I'm going to try to slow it down and see if I can see everything. So, but I was like, okay, all right, this is where we're going. Okay.
Well, it's interesting you've seen that side of it, because the only side that I seen was the really cool artwork that they had in there. That was the only side that I seen. I thought, man, this is really awesome. I mean, they had they set the scene at the very beginning, I think, really well coming into it. I mean, and what are the things with the glowing eyes? Do you know?
I don't know their exact names, but in the cartoon Rebels, they had gone to a planet that had those types of creatures on it, where they don't come out in the light. They only come out when it's dark. And I think that's what they were. At first, I didn't know, but then when he left and he shot out the light and they started coming towards the guy, I was like, okay, I think that's what they are. But I don't know the names of the creatures.
Well, are they some kind of dogs? Chris, do you remember the very beginning of it?
Not that much. I did watch the whole episode because I was texting JKL right after I finished watching it, because I was thinking of what I was seeing, but I figured I had to check with him to confirm. But
so when you text me, I was asleep, so I got it in the morning. I was like, oh, okay.
You were texting the right person, in my opinion.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't remember the details on that one. No.
Yeah, when he's walking down the alley in the beginning, and they have all the graffiti up, and he's got the child next to him, and there's these red-eyed creatures in the dark.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to go back and watch it again. I don't remember.
That set the first scene like I've never seen before, and I think that they did a really good job with this. It looks so theatrical that you'd almost think it's movie quality. I mean, which tells us why it took a year, right? I mean, it takes a year to make a movie.
Yeah, it's definitely movie quality, and they threw more money at it, and you could tell just by this first episode, because even towards the end, the CG is awesome.
They seem to do a lot more surrounding scenes, of the land and stuff like that they've done in the first season, of seeing Tatooine and stuff like that. There just seem to be a lot more of those types of drone type footage type thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, you know, there were so many like haters when Disney took over Star Wars. What do y'all think? I think Disney has done a great job with Star Wars.
I was kind of a hater too. I mean, I thought, okay, Disney, they got the money to put behind it. We're gonna get more movies, more content. So I was happy. But seeing some of the stuff they've done with it, I'm just kind of like disappointed. Mostly with the movies, because unfortunately there was no real direction with the 3 movies, in my opinion. But that's like another video we can go into.
What do you mean the three movies? There was no direction. The 3 recent ones.
We're talking about Lucas was supposed to be an advisor on those.
Yeah, but they didn't have a complete story. Like even the first 3, the original trilogy, Lucas didn't. He had a complete story, although he told it in 3 different parts, and they don't line up exactly. But he had a complete story, so he knew where he was taking it. But with this last trilogy, it's like, okay, let's do the first movie and see what happens. Then they did the second movie. Okay, people didn't really like it. All right, now the third movie, we're gonna just erase the second movie and pretend everything came from the first one. It was like it was too jumbled. It was crazy.
Look, I agree with you. So I didn't really watch the movies after about the third one. When they started getting confusing and doing weird stuff, I didn't really get into that. But and I don't know that I would have gotten into The Mandalorian if the hype wasn't so high, because I caught The Mandalorian like months after it actually like was out. So I kind of like sit there and binge watched all the episodes at one time, which was really awesome and disappointing all at the same time, because then I had to wait a whole year before they came out with another one. What did y'all think about that opening fight scene? I mean, that goes right into like the opening where they're coming in there and you have the graffiti and the dogs. I mean, you already know that something grungy and dark is about to go down. Yeah. So what did we think about that opening fight scene? Because to me, that is going to go down in one of the best opening fight scenes I think we're going to see this season.
Well, I liked it because one of the cool things about the Mandalorian or Din Djarin, this particular Mandalorian, is like he's not like a super fighter. It's not like he's like a ninja, never gets hit or anything. Like he uses his environment to his advantage. You can see like when the guy went to punch him, he just like flung his helmet into his fist, like boom. You know, that's what you do, right? And you could tell that his armor has weight to it because he's not super fast. You could tell like when he has to move, it takes effort. So I like it. And you know, he used his whistling birds to surprise them. So you know, it was good. I liked it.
Well, you know, my favorite part of that scene though is when Yoda reaches over and he hits a little button.
Yeah, when he hides. Because he knew what was going to happen. He saw the whistling birds come out. He's like, all right, I'm out.
He knew that it was about to get bad really fast. I mean, so he went ahead and got out of there. I kind of noticed something in this, and I kind of want to ask what y'all think. Chris, did you notice that this feels a lot like a modern day Western?
Well, I mean, this one especially because of, you know, where he ended up going and being in Tatooine, and of course being the, you know, the guy that, you know, was in Fett's armor, you know, because I believe he had played like a Western, like I think it was Longmire or something like that. So I think that whole thing kind of set it as looking like a Western. You got a sheriff, you got the, you know. I think this episode, yes, I'm not thinking that, you know, the whole season is going to be, I think it's going to be more of a mystery because he's got to find out where the Jedi is and who they are. And of course, now with that very ending, you know, adds another, you know, addition to it. And we kind of knew he was going to show up at some point.
Mm-hmm. I wasn't expecting it right out the gate, but it's still awesome.
Yeah.
So I mean, we know that he's looking for Boba Fett, right? I mean, that's like that's the Mandalorian we're looking for, right?
Well,
I don't think he knows he's looking for him, though.
Right? Because the guy who had Cobb Vanth, that's his name, who had Boba Fett's armor, they thought he was a Mandalorian because he's wearing Mandalorian armor,
right?
But now that our Mando realizes he wasn't a real Mandalorian, I think he's gonna take that on, and I was assuming he was just taking it because, you know, it's kind of sacrilege for a non-Mandalorian to wear Mandalorian armor. But what's he going to do with the armor? Like, is he going to keep it as like backup armor, or maybe he's going to take it to the armorer
That was my assumption in that is he's going to take that back to the armor, right? I mean, so he's going to go back to the Bounty Hunters Guild, and all of that's going to take place, I think, in the next one. So I think in the next one we're going to see him returning that. Yeah.
And I think we're going to see Grief Karga and Cara Dune in the next episode because he's got to go back. Like he hit a dead end. Like what's he going to do? So you go back to the start.
So I mean, is it fair to say that he's looking for Boba Fett? I mean, do we think that's who he's looking for?
Well, I don't think he's looking for Boba Fett. I think he went looking for the guy wearing the Mandalorian armor, thinking he was the Mandalorian. I don't think he knows Boba Fett is around. But somehow, since we saw him at the end watching The Mandalorian, I think Boba Fett's going to somehow get in touch with him or track him down.
Yeah, I think since you showed him at the end, I think it'll be like a main part of the next episode.
Is that who they showed at the very end of that? Because I was going to ask y'all that here at some point. Who was that?
Was my question. That was my question to him. Yeah. Because I told him, I sent him a message. It's like, I was looking at that and I replayed that part a couple times. I'm like, that he's bald, which is different. But I was like, that looks like, and I wasn't sure because again, this is set far in the future. Whereas, the last time you really saw Boba was a long time ago. So it's like, wait, is that what I had seen? Yeah. Or, I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense here.
Well, no, it's actually only about 6 years after Return of the Jedi.
So, oh, yeah, that's right. He did set that. No, he said it was like 8 years from when the second Death Star had blown up.
Yeah, so Boba Fett, if he survived the Sarlacc Pit, which
that's what I was about to say. Didn't he die? Didn't Luke kill him? Essentially,
he didn't technically die. He just got swallowed, and the Sarlacc basically digests you slowly. So he could have fought his way out. Like in the books before Disney bought Star Wars, in the books he fought his way out. So he did get out, and there's a whole bunch of stories with Boba Fett still around. But once Disney bought Star Wars, all that stuff is not canon anymore. So now it was like, okay, are they going to bring him back? Are they going to let him stay dead? So
obviously, we now know the answer to that.
The only thing is, like, it doesn't necessarily have to be Boba Fett because there are other clones out there. But the
clones aren't supposed to age, are they?
Well, they age them up from kids into adults rapidly, and then some of them, like, the aging process slowed on them. Some of them, the aging process sped up on them. So it's kind of up in the air.
That just a few steps. What do you mean by the clones?
Wait, wasn't that Jango though? That was Jango's clones, wasn't it?
No, yeah, all the clone troopers are of Jango Fett.
Yeah.
And Boba Fett was an unaltered clone. So they gave him Boba Fett when he was a kid and let him raise him as his child. But Boba Fett is basically a clone of Jango Fett. He wasn't really born from someone. He was cloned. So, right now he'd probably be in his late 40s.
So, well, 50s. That would still make sense that he still, looks exactly like him and everything that. It didn't have real high aging to him.
Right. Yeah, they would all still look alike. That's the thing. So is it Boba Fett or is it one of the clones that happened to survive that long? But I think it's Boba Fett.
Well, I've seen a lot of leaks and a lot of like the little insider stuff that they have going on, and they say that we're going to see Boba Fett in this one, but I'm still not 100% sure because I'm thinking about when Luke, hit his jetpack and he went into the whole hole, and I guess he got eaten. In my idea, he would have died at that point, but in the books, you're saying that he wasn't dead, so he fought his way out of that. So maybe we are, maybe we're not going to see Boba Fett. Is that who was at the end of the show? Was that Boba Fett?
Yeah, I think that was Boba Fett.
I mean,
I think so too.
Yeah.
So you think Boba Fett's been there the whole time? I mean, no one can see him without his armor, right?
Well, he's not really a Mandalorian because he was born on the cloning planet, and I don't think Jango Fett raised him as a Mandalorian. So for him, taking off his armor, it's not a big deal. And plus, not many people have ever seen him without his armor, so they wouldn't even know what he looked like without it. So he could walk around and be Boba Fett, just use a different name, and nobody would know who he is because no one's really seen him.
Yeah, do we think maybe he's in hiding?
I think so, because you have to remember, Boba Fett was friends with the Empire, and now the Empire's gone. So anybody who doesn't like the Empire and knows that Boba Fett used to run with the Empire, they might have a grudge against him. So he's probably just been hiding out. And remember, the area they're in on Tatooine is like closed off from the rest of the planet, basically. Like nobody really goes out there. So I think he's just hiding out. He was just chilling out there, and the clothes he had on kind of looked like the Tuscan Raiders robes. So he's probably disguised himself as a Tuscan Raider, chilling out there just to be left alone.
Hey,
So.
look, I can see all of that, and I guess that makes sense now that I'm thinking about the trailer where they're talking about that them and the Jedi have been at war for over 100 years. Now, they don't say Jedi; they call them the sorcerers, right?
Yeah.
They say them and the sorcerers have been at war for over 100 years, which leads you to believe that they're talking about the Jedi, right? People that can move things with their mind, a lot like the child. I want to say the child because I have a hard time saying that that's Yoda.
Baby Yoda. Well, I know it's not Yoda, but since we don't have Yoda's species has never been named, so that's why people just say Baby Yoda, because the only two that you've seen on screen is Yoda and Yaddle. So, and you're not going to call it Baby Yaddle. So, do
you think that we're about to find out that there is a species that they have one, or is this
or the child's a clone?
Yeah, it could be a clone. Although in the first season they kind of pushed you off that because Quill said he didn't look like a clone because he used to work in a cloning facility, and they usually say like clones have markers that you can tell if you've been around them. So I don't know. I mean, listen, he's 50 years old, so if he was around for 50 years, it's quite possible that people just didn't know he was there. and again,
I guess
we don't know where Yoda's species is from. Do they lay eggs? You know, do they conceive like humans? Like, we don't know.
Well,
are they like tadpoles? Who knows?
I'm wanting to believe that they what did that lady say when they landed, when the ship landed and he had the droids come in and they're working on the ship, and she said if he what did she say, spawns, or what did she say, splits? I would like to believe that he's going to split. He just splits off into another one.
Like a symbiote, just, you know, just part of him comes off and becomes
the only disappointing part I found in that is that when she picked him up, you could, for a split second there, if you were really paying attention, you would have realized that it looked very fake. Yes. It looked very, very square, very rigid. It didn't have any kind of lifelike to it when she was picking it up. So I wish that maybe they would have cut that scene out.
Just edited just like a second earlier.
Just cut that scene out so that it didn't look so animatronic. Did I say that right?
Animatronic.
However you say that.
It didn't even look animatronic. It just looked like a doll.
It looked very, it looked very fake. Hey guys, how are y'all doing? We're glad you're here hanging out with us. Really appreciate it. I see that JKL's daughter's in.
I've been on private chat the whole time.
I just realized me too.
Johnny Funko's in there. Hey guys, it's good to see y'all. Appreciate y'all hanging out. So I wish they would have edited that scene out. And then I got kind of confused on his racer. Is that what we're gonna call that? What do we call those?
What the
speeder?
He was on a speeder bike, and the other guy was on a pod racer.
A pod racer, yes.
Do you know what pod racer he was on?
I don't, and that's what confused me. Is I don't ever remember seeing those pod racers.
That was in episode 1.
Yeah, he was on Anakin's. He was on one of Anakin Skywalker's pod racer engines.
So,
is
this where the original Star Wars starts off? Is this like planet supposed to be where Luke's from?
Tatooine? No,
Tatooine is where
it's Anakin's from.
Yeah, right. Anakin was raised in Tatooine, but then Luke was dropped off to his aunt and uncle who were on Tatooine and lived with them since a baby, basically.
Right. So this is basically where the first Star Wars starts off.
Yes.
Tatooine, yes.
Right. I mean, because they ended the last movies, and I'm going to try and like not go over there too much, but they ended the last movie where the original Star Wars starts off, and they keep revisiting this spot. So what's so significant about this spot?
Well, remember she buried the lightsabers on Tatooine, because again, that's what that was. You know, she knew that was where Luke. JKO will probably emphasize more on that, but I took it as, you know, she emphasized that she knows that that's where Luke was from. You know, kind of, and you know, putting his lightsaber in there to, you know, almost like bury him because there was nothing to bury him.
Right.
So.
Right. I mean, that was basically it. I mean, and that's how it ended. So what's the significance here?
Well, I think for the fans, it's recognizable because Tatooine, the first Star Wars, everybody knows Tatooine, the sand planet. Second, it's significant because that's where Anakin was born, and you know everybody knows Anakin, Darth Vader. And remember, Obi-Wan hung out there a lot because he was watching over Luke, and Luke was there. So I think it's just kind of like a familiar place that kind of the fans can just go, okay, we're in Star Wars land. Just let it go and go with it. As far as in story significance, I don't know. It's a beacon of the Force or something. I don't know.
So is this home? Is this home of the Sand People?
The majority of Sand
Jawas
people,
and stuff.
yeah, the majority of Sand People and Jawas are usually found on sand planets. So yeah, Tatooine will have them. Jakku, where Rey was from, they had some, but you didn't see them in the movie. But yeah, there's some there also. So yeah.
So what did we think about it? Is it his helmet that gives him the ability to speak so many languages? Did y'all catch that he can speak just about every language?
Jawa.
He even spoke to the dogs, or whatever we want to call those. I mean, but they resemble dogs to me.
Yeah. I think I don't know. I think in this situation, it's one of those things where you've been around a lot, so you just learned a lot of languages.
Yeah, he traveled all over the place.
Some people have traveled a lot of places, so they just know a lot of languages. So I didn't really, pay too much attention to it. I mean, I realized it, and I'm like, okay, he's multifaceted, but it wasn't like a surprise to me. Like, oh, he knows Jawa. It's like, oh. Okay.
Yeah. No, the fact that he could talk to him didn't surprise me. The fact that he talked to the reptiles or dogs or whatever we want to call them, that was a little bit of a shocker. But what did y'all think when that giant thing ate him?
Oh, when the crate dragon ate him, I figured he was gonna blow his way out.
Well, I figured he was gonna, but that I thought was the whole plan, was him to go in there, kind of Moby Dick style, and blow him up from the inside.
Yeah. Well, that's what I thought they were doing originally when they were putting the bombs on the bantha. I was like, okay, they're gonna put a bantha out there with all the bombs on it. It's gonna eat the bantha. They're gonna blow it up. But then they got there and they're like, yeah, we're gonna dig a trench and plant the bombs in the ground and make him come out. And I was like, why? Just let him eat the damn thing and blow it up. Like, but also that's an Easter egg too, because in the video game Knights of the Old Republic, which came out, I think in 2001-ish, 2002, when you go to the planet, it's like RPG. So basically you're playing as a character. You can go to the different planets. When you go to the planet, one of your missions is to kill a crate dragon, which they actually have legs in the game. And this one didn't have legs. It was kind of like a snake. So I don't know. But one of the things you do is you go outside the cave, which looked exactly like the cave on the show. And you plant a bunch of bombs. And then when the crate dragon comes out, it explodes into bombs. So that's basically what they did in the show. So it's like they just did that from the game.
I did not know that. Didn't have a clue that was even part of the games. Before we got on here, you were talking about there was a lot of Easter eggs in there. Which Easter eggs did you find?
Well, that was one of them from the game. I was like, oh, that's what you do in the game. When the Jawas was taking it apart, and they pulled out that pearl. That's called the crate dragon pearl. In the game, you can actually use it in your lightsabers, but I don't know. That shit was crazy big, so I doubt that's going in a lightsaber. But it is one of the rarest jewels on the planet, basically in the galaxy, because they're hard to get. And it's kind of like how a clam would make a pearl. It's the same thing. Like, since they eat so much rocks, it kind of calcifies and becomes a pearl. So that was kind of cool. I know a lot of people thought it was like the eye or something. I was like, nope, that's a
I can't tell it was some sort of pearl of some sort.
Yeah,
I just didn't know what the significance to it was.
Yeah.
I think that I caught right away that was a pearl. I was only wondering, was there more pearls inside of him? Because he is so big. I mean, he is such a big creature. Was there more than one? I mean, you'd almost have to think there would have to be, right? I mean, it's not like
probably. I mean, as far as I know from canon, there's usually only one, but I mean, again, it could change, so it could be more than one.
And let me tell you the part that I'm really confused about: the general, right? That comes in on the X-wing. It's not an X-wing. What is he coming in on?
Which general?
The general that's trying to kill him, and he crashes.
He was on the TIE fighter.
TIE fighter. There we go. And he cuts himself out. He is cutting himself out with the Mandalorian's lightsaber.
Right.
So I'm confused on this, because I thought that the person who had possession of this lightsaber also ruled over the Mandalorians.
Right. Traditionally, whoever controlled the Darksaber is the leader of the Mandalorians. It was actually with a character called Bo-Katan the last time we saw it. outside of the Mandalorian as far as the timeline, and she's rumored to be in this season because the whole thing is like, okay, how'd he get it from her? But there was a purge of Mandalore that happened, I think, in one of the books. I haven't read a lot of the recent stuff, so I don't know. So maybe he got it that way. Could he be an ex-Mandalorian? Like maybe he was a Mandalorian. He stole it and broke out to be with the Empire. I don't know. Like there's a lot of stuff that happened between the end of Rebels, where the Darksaber was last seen, and right now to where we saw it again. So there's a lot of explaining to do.
Well, I think the part that confuses me there is that he was trying to get the child from Mando. It later last season, right? He was trying to get the child from Mando, and I'm sure that that's still the goal, right? But shouldn't he just be able to command him to give him the child? I mean, because they follow that code so like to the word, right, that's part of the code, right? I mean, that's the Mandalorian code.
Well, if
Kenneth, how are you doing, bud? It's good to see you.
If the Mandalorian knows he has the Darksaber, number one, I don't think he knows he has it. And two, if the Mandalorians are still following that creed, because from the beginnings of Mandalore history to now, they've changed their creed a number of times. Because the whole not taking off the helmet thing, like 20 years before this, they didn't follow that. They used to take their helmets off all the time. So it just depends on if they're still following that, whoever has the Darksaber rules the Mandalorians thing.
So have they changed the creed, or is the story just been evolving?
No, they've changed their creed, because Mandalorians, they started off as like a warring race, and then they became peaceful, then they became warring again, and then they developed their creed of not taking off the helmet. And when that's recent, but when the first Mandalorian Jedi made the Darksaber and they stole it from the Jedi after he died, and then they were like, all right, well, this is the symbol of our leader. Because before that, it was the mask. It was a mask that one of the Mandalorians had, and whoever had that mask was the leader. So, like, yeah, it's changed a lot.
See, so I guess I didn't know that. And is that from reading the books? I mean, is that where you're getting that from?
Well, as far as Mandalorian history, there was a video I sent you guys. That's where I got a lot of that from, because I really wasn't like versed in Mandalorian history. I mean, I knew some of the stuff about them, but yeah, that taught me a lot.
Right, hold on just a second, guys. We had JB come on. I'm going to get him in here real quick. I didn't realize you sent us a video. I guess I'm going to have to go back and see if I can find that one.
About that heart attack.
I'm on top of it. I'm on top of my Star Wars
heart attack right now.
What? Are you running?
Dude, my wife's got me laying pavers in the back. I forgot about the time. The neighbor comes over. She's like, hey, will you watch the kids for a little while? I'm like, well, the party's going to start at 4. And I look down. Oh, shit. I'm sorry, guys. I'm late.
It's all right. It happens.
Turn them off.
Is it
oh, no. Guys, I left my sprinklers running for about an hour. Hold on for a second.
Oh, jeez. Oh, he's hilarious.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, he is hilarious. He is hilarious. That's great. So I guess I didn't realize it. You sent us a video, I guess I'm going to say on Instagram. That's where you sent the video. I'm going to have to go check that out.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think it was after the last time we had the Mandalorian thing. But I'm not the Star Wars guy, and I botched up on my Star Wars. Come on.
Oh my
goodness. I mean, so the last one we did with the trailer actually made me sit down and try and go back and do research on the timelines and the different stuff. JB, how are you doing? It's good to see you.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It happens, bud.
It's all right.
I was late too.
What's my heart rate? 115. I'm in the cardio zone, bud. I am in the cardio zone right now.
Awesome.
JB, what did you think about the beginning of the first episode?
The beginning of the first episode.
Give us your insight. What do you think?
Let me refocus now.
We'll give you a second to refocus. So I'm gonna
the
have
beginning is he's walking into the fight.
Yes.
Through that town that looks really bad.
Really
right?
bad.
Shady McGrady town. Now, were there any Easter eggs? Because what I was really noticing was the everything. It's in the graffiti. If you were paying attention to the graffiti, there was a little bit of
they're talking about. I missed that. I gotta go back and watch it.
I probably paused it right there.
as you're looking at the graphics, is he's walking through this dirty, seedy town. Well, what makes it dirty and seedy is not only the lack of light. By the way, remember those lights were very important because creatures be living in the dark. First, you see those eyes, and you're like, "What the hell is that?" In the dark shadows, and then we're talking about the graffiti because there was a little bit of both. There was anti-Empire stuff up there, but there was also anti-Jedi. It seemed symbolism up there, crossed out stuff. So as you're walking through there, this is a place that has no allegiance. It seems they're against everybody, basically, right? So then you go into this. And how did he know which door to turn to? Because it was the only one with the guy standing in the doorway. I don't know. That was another thing. There's only the one guy standing in the doorway, and he goes over there.
You always go to the right door.
You always go to the right place, right? And they let him in, and it's a fight. Now that's kind of cool. First, again, Easter egg. Here is a Fight Club with some characters that we've seen before in Jabba's palace, right? These characters using the same weapons,
the axes,
weapons, but now we're seeing that the weapons actually had maybe some sort of force field shields going on with them.
Yeah, something weird,
right? Something to that effect. I thought that was a really interesting. I was over the top, loving the way that started. I will tell you, during the course of the episode, I felt there were scenes that dragged a little bit.
It was kind of
a constant speeder bike through the desert.
Yeah, it was like a video game.
So let me ask you,
the whole episode was like a video.
Let me ask you.
Well, no, that goes back to what we were saying. They seem to have a lot more like drone type footage that just
I love it.
Gave the landscape.
Yes. Well, I think drone footage is the best way to get the landscape. If you're going to do like scene changes, I look because I like the drones and the way they look, but they also have to have some correlation to what you're talking about when you use a drone. But what did you think about just the way the whole fight scene went down? Where do you think we're going from here?
Well, he's asking for information, right? And interesting. Now I think there's something else that was very important. And there was something that was very important. I don't think we really understood the value of Beskar out there in the armor, what it's made of, what the value of this stuff is as a commodity.
It's super rare. It's
super rare. And this guy was willing to basically kill him for his suit of armor, because he's enamored of it and the value of it. So that was something interesting, how it comes in later, how, he has to reclaim that armor later from this guy who got it on the bogus.
Yeah. Well,
we'll
think about that
armor
already. If it's Boba Fett's armor, which it
is,
then
it has to be.
It's not
it has to be,
because his armor wasn't made of Beskar.
Boba
Fett's armor wasn't made of Beskar.
How do we know that?
From the books.
I mean,
but is it from the books that are still canon?
I believe it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, see, I would have said that it wasn't Beskar too, but just because I thought that his armor kind of started off like that too, and as he kept having it remade and he kept getting more bounty, he got to where he's at, right? I mean, so I kind of felt like that. Hey, do we think that he's looking for Boba Fett? Is that where you think this is going, JB?
Well, I think he's looking for any Mandalorian right now, and that's kind of what he said. He's like, hey, I've been tasked to go find this guy's home, and I don't even know where to start. I want to find other Mandalorian who can help me, because there's the lore of the war with the dark, what would they call them?
The wizards.
The wizards, right?
Because
I think right now he's strictly on the hunt for more Mandalorian. And when the guy does tell him, hey, I've got good information on Tatooine, he's like, dude, I've been on Tatooine. There ain't no Mandalorian on Tatooine.
I like how he shot out that thing and left
bag of worms. How important is Tatooine now? If I don't even want to call him Django. If Django was hiding out there the whole time,
I think it was Boba. No, it wasn't Django.
That's Boba. That's Boba. Yeah, that's Boba hanging out there in that final scene.
Yeah, I think it's Boba too. I mean, like I was saying earlier, they could do a brain F on us and make it one of the clones, but I think
but don't do that. Don't do that, man. That's
technically, like you said, Boba's a clone already. So
I mean, he's technically a clone, but he's unaltered. He didn't have any chip in his head or anything like that. So he's his own person, as opposed to the clones who were kind of modified. So
they gave him one, is what they said.
Yeah. So I just hope it is Boba. Just leave it. Don't mess with us with it being a clone or something stupid. Just it's Boba Fett.
So what is the story? How did Boba get out of the Sarlacc Pit?
Again, we don't know.
That was one of my questions from the very start. I mean, you know that had to be his armor, right? Because he got put in the whole pit, and I mean, so I would have thought that he was dead, right, coming into this, and then they're starting to give you these Easter eggs that tell you that he's not dead. And to me, it felt a lot like an old Western. I mean, it felt like a modern Western to me. That's how this feels.
But isn't there clues that are given? First of all, the dragon ate the Sarlacc.
Yep.
And the Mandalorian went into the dragon to blow it up.
Correct.
And came out. So is there clues here that we're not seeing?
How he got out? Yeah. Now, as far as the Western concerned, come on. This whole series has been like a Western.
Yeah.
When he goes to that town that's not on the map, is that any more modern Western than it gets? I mean,
exactly.
I wanted to hear the spurs jingling and jangling as he went through the doors, right?
And where'd he go? To the saloon?
Yeah, he goes to the saloon, and sure enough, the guy's like, well, someone that looks like me. He's right there. And sure enough, the guy's got like, 45 hanging off his side, and he's ready to draw. When you notice that when he sat down, he took his helmet off. First of all, as soon as he took his helmet off, you're like, oh, there's something wrong. He ain't a fucking Mandalorian because he wouldn't take his helmet off.
Right.
But he takes his helmet off, but you never see his gun hand. Right. I was expecting that if they would have changed the angle, he was drawn the whole time. You know? You couldn't see his hand from where he put his helmet.
Because the helmet, yep. That's what you expected.
And I looked at that scene as two parts. First, he came through the door, and you seen him. I recognize the armor right away. I'm like, dude, Boba's back. What's great? That's where he's been hiding the whole time, or he got out of the pit and he's been hiding out. And then all of a sudden he took his helmet off. And what's great part about that, if you can actually look at it, it shows over the Mandalorian. Of course, you can't see facial expressions, but you can tell what his damn facial expression is.
He's like, nah.
What the hell?
What the hell? Come on, where'd you get this armor?
Well, I knew when he walked through the door it wasn't Boba Fett because he just didn't look right. Like the armor fit him. Yeah, the armor didn't fit him.
I almost thought it was a woman when I first saw the structure of it. I was like, that's not Boba Fett. That's got to be some chick.
Yeah.
Well, I think I wanted it to be when I first seen it, but then I thought, well, the armor looks short. I mean, the armor just didn't look like it fit.
Yeah. So I knew that wasn't him, but that's still a good hint that he's coming.
And you say that
he's around.
Do y'all think the whole thing has felt like a Western?
Yeah,
absolutely.
The whole thing.
Oh yeah.
Really? Why did I just have that? Like, why did the light bulb just go off?
I have felt that from the very beginning. I mean, there was the one episode where they rally the town, to draw.
Yeah, that was like
a freaking spaghetti Western, man. That was the seven. Yeah, that was a remake of the what'd you call it? The Seven
Samurai. Yeah,
the Seven Samurai.
About the only episode that didn't really feel like a Western was the one where they were on the spaceship, the prison
on the
ship.
Spaceship. Yeah,
that was like a horror movie, but still,
exactly. Yeah,
they're doing like movie tropes, man, and it's awesome. I like it.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
I love it. I sat there for a minute and I was like, this is a lot like, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And he's all of those, all in one person.
Listen, he came to a town looking for a person. The people in the town had a problem. If he helps them solve the problem, he'll get to the person. Like that's what you do, right? That's the Western.
And then the other classic, what do you call it? The other classic part of this whole thing is Star Wars fans want depth of character. For us to get a little bit more in depth on the Sand People,
that was
awesome for a Star Wars fan, man. For me, that's what I like the most. And when he starts talking, dude, he blew me away. And you got to notice that when he was on his trek on the speeder bike, he spent the night with some Sand People, and it went quick.
It went
quick. They just barely skimmed over the top of it that he was spending the night with some Sand People. But sure enough, it comes in later on in that episode that he starts doing the hand symbols and it was cool, man.
I like that
for this series.
And go ahead.
Let me tell you the point. I was disappointed though when they're talking. I wanted some kind of subtitles. I wanted something to give me like what they were communicating about, other than
why? Because then we can all be trying to talk the language out.
Yes,
here?
absolutely.
I like it like that, like kind of like when R2 made his beeps and bloops. Like you
don't know exactly what he's saying, but you kind of think what he's saying
based on the reactions from other people,
And I love what they're doing in Marvel with Groot. Where he
Yeah,
always
it's
says,
like,
I am Groot, but that means a bajillion different things,
So based on how people react to it, you know what he said or have an idea what he said. I like that. Leave it up to your own imagination. You fill in the blanks. I don't mind that. It's
Well,
only
you
if
clearly knew he got angry, when they
Yeah,
jumped up and
yeah.
started doing it. I mean,
Was there anybody besides me who thought the original plan should have been feed the fucking bantha?
I
filled
said
with the
that.
That was the
I said
original
that.
plan. As
That's
soon as
what
I
I thought
saw
the
the
plan
damn things
was.
carrying, I'm like, oh, dude, this is simple. They're gonna fucking string this guy up there, get him
feed
to
it
eat him.
and then blow it
Boom,
up.
done.
That's
And I thought that
exactly
was
what
the
I said.
original plan. And then when he's digging the trench, I'm like, what the fuck's he doing, man?
That's exactly what I said.
Right?
Exactly
Come
what I
on.
said. Go back and watch the replay. I just said that.
I didn't
Get to that.
Look, I didn't catch that. I watched what they were doing. I was listening to the Mandalorian give the whole story on how we're going to set it up, and never once did I think, well, why don't you just let him feed the thing and stop all that nonsense?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they made a big deal out of saying, well, his belly is his weak spot. So to throw your mind off to say, okay, so they have to hit it from underneath. So you wouldn't think of, well, why didn't they just feed them the bantha and blow it up? Like, I think that's why they did it.
Well, there was that scene before where they tried to feed the bantha and it ate the guy instead and just went right back.
Put some bombs on him too.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, you gotta sacrifice.
Somebody's
bro.
taking it in there.
Listen, one person died or like 17 died. Come on.
You were going to suicide bomb him. Go for it.
Come on, they're sand people.
Oh, that's
Come
so
on.
wrong.
They don't care.
So when the town got shot up with the guys with the helmets on, were those sand people?
No, those are
Miners.
Yeah, they were miners.
They were rogue miners who said, hey, man, there ain't no government no more. Let's take over this town.
They took over, right? They took over the town.
So what was the town's problem with the mine people? With the sand people? What was the issue with the sand people?
Well, sand people, they call them
raiders.
The Tuscan Raiders because
they're raiders. Yeah. That's what they do.
Come in, raid your town, take what they want, and peace out.
But they also keep their word.
Yeah. So now that they work together, they gave their word they won't raid the town anymore. So there's a peace, unless one of the townspeople.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah.
They made sure they put that strange stipulation in there.
Yeah. One of your people act up, we coming to get you. But that was pretty cool. I mean, again, having depth to the sand people, because most of the movies, well, I can't even say most, all the movies, all we've seen of them is they're savages. Like, they're just the savage people that hang out in the desert. Now you see that, they're not.
I got
savages,
a question for you. I bet you JKL's got the answer to this one. So the fake Mandalore, whatever that guy's name was, the marshal of the town.
Mm-hmm.
His story is that he steals something and it's the only thing he grabs. Valuable. And it ends up being crazy, stupid valuable. What the hell was that?
I don't remember the name of the crystals, but they're these types of crystals that's just crazy valuable. Yeah.
But are they have anything to do with lightsaber crystals?
Not that I know of, but somebody with more knowledge might know. Hopefully,
here's the other question.
With more knowledge than you.
Yes, there are. That's lots.
If the sheriff or whatever was that good of a shot, why didn't he just go back and shoot him the next day instead of running through the desert?
Yeah, I don't know. He's probably shook. But then once he gets the Mandalorian armor,
Also, he's got courage.
Well, no,
the Mandalorian armor gives him courage all of a sudden.
Because Mandalorian armor can deflect lightsabers. So if it can deflect lightsabers, it can deflect laser shots. So he probably was like, "All right, I could probably take him with this."
And it did. It deflected a laser shot and it saved his life during that confrontation. Plus, I think we're coming to find out that there is a lore throughout the galaxy of the Mandalore that even the sight of one tells you that he's a killer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So when he hit the doorway, those guys were like, "Oh shit."
Yeah, exactly. And the thing I find that's funny is that the Mandalorian reputation is much bigger than the Jedi reputation. Because most people don't even believe Jedi exists, but everybody knows a Mandalorian. So it's kind of like, okay, how could you know more about the Mandalorians than the Jedi?
Once again, goes back to that old Western, kind of like when Clint Eastwood would walk in the bar. He might as well have something he just slings back over his gun when he walks in. Oh, that would just set it off. He just sling his coat back.
Yeah.
Oh, man. It was a good episode. I'm looking forward to a lot more. Of course, definite questions. Like I said, JB didn't hear her. I like the moment I finished watching, I'm like texting JB or JKL. Like, what did I just see? Did I just see what I thought I saw?
Oh, the last couple seconds were were everything.
It's the vet, man.
You know,
How about that teaser for the next week?
Oh, it's just that's what starts it all. That starts all the. That's the big spoiler. You know, I honestly, as good as the episode was, I probably could have watched the first scene and then that last scene.
Yeah,
that's all you need to see.
You know, I just needed the the fight scene there where he gets that and you know walks off with that thick guy eating him, and then the end scene where you get Boba. You're like, hey, I could be cool with that.
It kind of brings me back to the first season when he had to get his stuff back. So he had to go kill this big thing to get his stuff back,
right?
And then all of a sudden, it had like reminiscence of the first.
The thing with that is, like, again, as a gamer or former gamer, I played a lot of the early RPGs, and that's what the games were. It's like you had a main mission, but in order to complete that main mission, you usually had to do all these little side quests. So that's kind of what this show is. It's like,
so obviously that armor that he's acquired is going to come in handy here. Is
possibly,
that something, you know, is he that's awesome.
I like that.
Wow. That actually took me by surprise for a second there. I'm like, what the hell?
I was like,
I hope what are you dressing up as?
So right now, you know, I'm doing my Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Yesterday I did my impression of Captain Pops. Apparently that was my impression of Captain Pops. And then today I think I'm going to go back to the Witch Doctor, or I'll go back to Captain Jack. It'll be one or the other. But we're going to take the kids, you know, trick or treating. We got some friends coming over.
We're not trick or treating this year. Yeah, we're not having trick or treat. I don't want all those people touching my door. Then we touch my doorbell.
No, we're saying candy. We set up on outside. We set everything up outside. Table. And disinfectant, basket of candy.
Spray them as they approach you, and
you know what the school did? The school had the principal dressed up like Where's Waldo in the back of a truck with a 6-foot long candy tube, and she dropped candy down one end of the tube, and the kids were down at the other end of the tube catching it.
I love it. I love it. I say trick or treating. My youngest is 14. I mean, so we're not going to be going door to door. I mean, we'll probably go to my wife's work and hand out some candy, and then I mean, so it'll be super.
We're hosting a sleepover. Party starts at 4. We're getting the place ready.
I have one more question for all of you though before we get off the whole Mandalorian. The blue arrows on his hands,
the whistling birds.
Where did they come from?
He probably just had more made. I mean, he had the
made
best
from
guy.
that lady. Yeah.
No. He has these big blue arrows on the top of his hands. Because I'm going to tell you what those arrows. They look just like from The Last Airbender. So you know, in The Last Airbender, that guy has those big blue arrows on the top of his hands. Right. And I hear there's some rumors that Disney has been working with all of the crew from The Last Airbender to actually make the Mandalorian. So did they sneak that in on his hands without any of us really paying attention?
I'd have to go back and look.
That would be a great little Easter egg there.
Yeah, I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
He's got great, just like on The Last Airbender. You know how he has those big blue arrows on his hands? So does the Mandalorian.
I'm going to have to go back and check that again.
Yeah, when I rewatch it, I'll look. But also, real quick, before we end, I want to throw out some Easter eggs that I got, because I still got a lot we haven't seen.
I was waiting.
Okay.
Only he
the bartender that he was talking to is a Weequay. That's the name of their race. And the drummer at Jabba's palace, he was a Weequay. And the character Hondo that was in Rebels and Clone Wars, he was a Weequay, just so you know. The guy that he killed in the fight club with the horns, the Zabrak, Darth Maul was a Zabrak. We all know that. The droid that the mechanic had was the R5 droid, the original R5 from A New Hope that broke down.
Yes,
that's the R5 droid.
That
R5
was an Easter egg and he tried to trade me his best goods, and that was the R5 that fucking broke down.
Yep. Let me see. When the Mandalorian hit Boba Fett's jetpack, like in Return of the Jedi,
just like in Return of the Jedi,
and he flew off. Yep. That seems like a design flaw. I don't know how you would have that.
They have it twice.
The Tuscan Raiders, when they rode into town, they rode in single file to hide their numbers. And also, the mechanic says, "Thank the Force." I think that's the first time the Force has been mentioned in the show.
I don't even think I caught that. I don't even think I caught that part.
Whoa. The
And
lady mechanic.
Yeah.
She does. She says, thank the force.
Right. And as far as I know, crate dragons didn't spit acid. So that's something new. I don't know if that's an Easter egg or not, but I just found that interesting.
Very nice.
I don't know that
that's all I have for now.
Have we ever really seen them fight the crate dragon?
Well, not on any show that I know of or any movie, but in the books, they've been mentioned a lot, and I've never known them to spit acid. And even in the games, I've never known them to spit acid. So I don't know.
Well, I think sometimes they change the rules as we go.
Yeah, I mean, since Disney acquired Star Wars, they've changed a lot of stuff. So it could be something new. That's fine.
Did we eat dinner?
I don't know how you caught all of that. I'm still amazed.
I missed the force thing.
Yeah,
I missed the force thing. I missed the R5.
Oh, I didn't miss R5. That was great.
Crazy when I saw R5.
Dude, they tried to trade me their best goods.
Yeah. And Anakin's pod racer, the engine from
Anakin's pod racer. That was Anakin's pod racer.
Yeah, that was one of the engines.
Bitch. Yeah. That was awesome.
When I saw that, I was like, wait. It took me a while to just go, yeah, that's it. That's his freaking engine.
God, I love the show, man.
Yeah, they definitely did the fans right. They threw a lot of stuff.
That's what it's for. That's what it's for. For anyone that bitches and moans about it that it's too much fan service.
Yeah,
there's no such thing as
and the
too much
thing
fan
is,
service.
it's not even really fan service because it all makes sense. I mean, what's the odds that he has Anakin's pod racer engine? But at the same time, does it really matter? It's like, okay,
they're on Tatooine. Right? Yeah, come on.
Well, he left Tatooine. Who knows where his pod racer went? He did scavenging for parts.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So it's like, okay, it makes sense. And then it's like, oh, that's the same R5 droid. Like, why? But is that the only droid in the galaxy? No.
But that also means those were the same Jawas. Those were the same Jawas.
Right. Exactly. And notice how it was still moving slow, because remember when Luke said it has a bad motivator, so he's still moving slow, so he still has a bad motivator. It's just a little throwback. It's awesome. Like, come on, how could you not like this show?
So where do we think the next one's going? Where do we think the next episode is going? Because we got a whole.
I think it's going to be all about Boba in the next one.
You think so?
I bet you they don't even come back to Boba for like 3 or 4 episodes.
Yeah, that's what I think.
They just teased it. Now they're going to go somewhere completely else. It's completely different. We know we're going to see Cara Dune and the other characters. So I think we're going there next.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think they're going back to that planet. He's going to meet up with the armorer to take her.
They've done what they needed to do. They've set the Easter egg. They've set they've set it. Now they've set the hook. We're all biting on it and chomping on it. Give it away next week.
What is his plan to do with Boba's armor?
I think he's taking it back to the armory.
He's going to take it back to the armory. I would think he has to take that back to the armory, and that turns into more, a restock of weaponry, which he is definitely needing again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I think.
I don't think he's going to get any new armor.
Here's one thing I was a little miffed about. Notice that when the guy was telling the story that he shot the main rocket and killed the guys as they were driving off out of town. Mm-hmm. Well, then he shot the rocket again later on. What, did he get another one?
He got another rocket.
They had some extra spare rockets laying around.
I thought the same thing until I noticed all of that like explosives they had in the town, and I said, "Oh, they got him another one."
They got him another one.
They just got him another one.
It's just one of those things where you're like, "Okay, I'll let it go."
I'll just let it go.
He needs to have the rocket. Like
he needed to have the rocket.
Yeah, but I think that he's gonna take the armor back to the armorer and meet up with Grief Karga and Cara Dune. And realize, okay, I have to find another Mandalorian, and somehow, because remember in the trailers, the blue guy that he caught in the first episode of the first Mandalorian, the first season, is shown in the trailer, and he has a Funko Pop coming out, so he's coming back.
He's coming back.
I think that somehow the Mandalorian's going to find out that he knows something about where other Mandalorians are, and be like, all right, I got to go get this guy from whoever he took him to for the bounty. I think that's how he's going to come into play, and then that's going to take us to the next episode. That's what I think.
Did anyone else enjoy the fact that when he had strung that guy up from his feet, he shot the light out and let those creatures eat the crap out of him?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love that.
As soon as he said it, he said,
I
Yeah.
right.
I'm like, oh, dude, someone else is gonna come out here and rob us.
And that's one of the things I always teach my kids. I say, always listen to what people tell
You gotta listen to what people are
listen
saying.
to the words. Because if I say I'm not gonna kick your ass, that don't mean mom's not gonna kick your ass.
That's right.
So, yeah.
I just said I'm not. That's good. Oh,
So
that is
once
awesome.
he said that, I knew, okay, he's gonna die. Mando's just not gonna kill him. I thought maybe Baby Yoda was gonna choke him out.
Well,
I'm not doing it.
that's always an option, but I'm kind of glad that they kept him to a minimum in this one. I kind of feel like they did that on purpose.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that we're going to have one episode that's going to be all about the child, but they can keep him to a minimum. I mean, just a little bit, because I don't think that the whole story is necessarily about the child, right?
Yeah. I mean,
At least I don't feel
about
so.
getting him to somebody. I mean,
Right.
it's based around the child now,
Right.
but you know they're building so much more storyline up, you know, on his journeys.
Right.
Yeah, I don't. I
Right.
like the fact that they use him like to be kind of cute and funny, and you know, to make you go, oh, not necessarily.
And they're definitely using him as a
know,
kid too, where the
right.
the banter. Oh, so we're gonna do this in front of the kid, huh?
right. And he's like, yeah, he's seen worse. Don't worry about
He's
it.
seen
And
He's
the
seen
funny
worse.
thing is, that's something I say to people, like when my kids were young and they'd curse and they'd be like, "Oh, I'm sorry." I'm like, "Yeah, they've heard worse." So you know, as a parent, you relate to that because you know, your kids aren't that innocent. Don't worry about it. So it was cool.
Well, guys, I appreciate y'all coming and hanging out with me today, talking about
All
the
right, like,
Mandalorian.
guys, man, I totally.
It happens. Chris, what you got going on? Anything new going
Oh,
on?
we got Techbot After Dark tonight.
That's right.
9 o'clock.
That's right.
Really?
Techbot
Yeah,
After
it's
Dark.
first episode.
I love the
First
name.
episode.
Techbot After Dark.
Actually, you got to give it up to the fans of our Friday show. They actually it was started as like a
joke,
comedic.
yeah.
No, it was started as a joke, and I just like I kept thinking on it. I was like, man, that is catchy. I like it.
Yep, I remember I was there for that. It was cool.
What the hell have I
good
done?
that you spun
Let's see
into
if this
something
works.
else. Awesome.
JKL,
Did you?
anything?
Where'd he go?
No.
We lost him.
Did you do your After Dark thing last night? I know your show. You said your thing about it.
No way. Come on, man. What I did do is I changed my homepage.
Homepage is
cool.
new.
I changed the homepage banner, slapped my big ugly mug up on there. So you know that's
like it.
different. And then I didn't do very much content last week. Actually, I think I dropped a pre-edited video, a 4K top 10 comic book video. I'm working on another Funko Pop, you know, to music 3-minute video.
I
type
like
thing.
those. Those are definitely they're
I
creative.
got a
very
whole
creative.
series of them planned. I just, you know, I don't know.
I'm
They
the
just don't
same.
get very many views. I'm just trying new stuff. You know what they say? Throw it on the wall, see if it sticks.
See what sticks, yeah.
And just, you know, just trying new stuff. I'm having a lot of fun with the Filmora. So the pre-editing stuff is kind of fun. And then, you know, I had my birthday yesterday. I turned 48. And
Happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
thanks, man. 48. You know, my wife's like, why aren't you happy? And I was like, oh, you know what? Let's talk about that. At what age do you stop really celebrating being happy? You know, I think it was somewhere, I don't know when it
getting
happened,
older?
but somewhere in the 30s, I stopped looking forward to the birthdays. You know,
I still
I'll tell you.
in
I'll
the
tell you.
20s,
I'll tell you
they were
exactly.
like raging, man. I was looking forward to my birthdays in the 20s. In the
I'll tell you
30s, it started
exactly.
to slow down. And now that as I'm getting closer to 50, I'm like,
Yeah, no.
really not looking forward to my birthdays. You know, it's something that I
always
don't look forward to.
Yeah,
I'm not big on birthdays, but for me, it pretty much after you turn 21, it's like, okay, well, why am I counting anymore?
No,
You're not aiming towards anything.
No.
And now I get to my birthday, I'm just like, damn, another year older.
It's tough.
What the-
You know, it's been
No.
a tough couple years. You know, I've been on YouTube a couple of years. I've had semi-success, I would say, but you got to remember this whole thing was started from the midlife crisis, and it really hasn't got any better, man. I ain't working, you know. I'm still a stay-at-home dad. You know, the world's in Corona. What am I happy about? Hell, shit. Mandalorian. That's what I'm happy about. My comic books.
Wow, you guys have the wrong outlook, man. Every year, my birthday is the biggest day of the year, man.
Yeah.
Man, I
Kids will tell
need
you.
to hang out with you some more
I
often,
take
JK.
a whole week off from work.
Hang
I
out.
just do whatever I want, which is usually just sleep. But it's still what I want. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
You know,
it's
what's
awesome.
funny is when you were younger and you thought, oh, taking naps were kind of for the weak people. And now my favorite thing to do is take a
I
nap.
love
Oh,
to take
yeah.
a nice nap.
Oh,
Yeah,
awesome.
oh,
That's
man.
right.
I
I
can't
can't even
take
start.
naps.
Now, I have a question for you. I mean, I don't know if you guys look at your analytics. I look at my analytics a lot recently as I've decided that, hey, if I might as well do this, might as well do it right. So I'm looking at my analytics, and my particular viewer is between 35 and 54,
Yeah,
97%.
you said that last night.
35 to 54, 97% male. That is who's watching my channel.
So
All right.
mine is
That's basically me. And my question is to you guys, anybody in that age range, at what age did I stop sleeping through the night? Because now feels like I have to pee in the middle of the night every freaking night.
That's 40.
What age did that start?
That was 40.
Was that like 45, 46?
40.
All of a
No,
sudden,
that was 40.
I can't
Yeah.
fucking sleep through the night.
That was
And it's
40.
about 1 in the morning or 4 in the morning. It don't matter what it is.
Yep.
I gotta pee.
It's definitely after 40.
It's after
Yes,
40.
yeah.
It's just something about it.
It's the day you turn 40, you see, because I've just recently, I had that happen to me like 11 months ago. 11 months ago, I went to bed one night and I said, what, 2 a.m.? I got up and used the bathroom. I said, that's strange. And then that lasted for a week. And I went, man, that's really strange. And now here I am 11 months later and it still happens every night.
Every
like
night.
clockwork.
I'm up and
40, all right.
you can almost set your clock to it. Somewhere
Yeah.
between 1 and 4 in the morning, I sit straight up.
Yep.
And my wife goes, you
It's
got to
like
pee.
feel it.
Stagger to the bathroom.
I can't say that. I work at night. Plus, I'm not 40 yet, but I work at night, so I can't say much.
It's the day.
See the things you have to look forward to, man. See all those
yeah.
things you got to look.
It's
And look,
coming.
my audience is between 25 and 55, and it's like 99.9% male.
Man,
I mean, it's the craziest thing I've ever seen. So I don't even really look at the analytics because I just know that it's between 25 and 55, and
I was
that's just
was
who's there.
watching Brian from Simple Man's Comics talk about how to do a comic book YouTube channel with Steve at Burke Family 54 Comics, and he was talking about doing, he's doing Facebook ads. So I was like, you know what, I want to do one. So I started looking at these Facebook ads, and you literally can tailor it to.
Well, I've been doing them for a year.
I've got it all the way narrowed down to male between the age of
Yeah,
45 to 54 who likes
I got
comic
Wayne
book,
on to
comics,
him.
and movies. That's it.
Oh, guess
I got Wayne onto the Facebook thing. I've been doing the boost for like a year now on some of my videos, and some of them hit. Some of them you get some great success. Some of them, maybe not so much, and you just kind of rework it. And I've had it to where sometimes if you just tweak, that audience level a little bit, it makes all the difference.
Yeah.
So I just did my first advertisement 2 weeks ago that this channel's ever done. It was my very first one on Facebook. It was a pretty successful campaign, but it was like you said, I looked at my analytics and said, this is what I want. I need from this age group to this age group, male. I'm not worried about anything else. They got to be in the Funkos and comics, and that's it.
That's it.
You know what
Don't
helps
send
too.
it to anybody but those people.
And then I even said it in San Diego because California is a huge Funko part of the world.
Yeah.
So I set it over there so that was my location. Look, it did really well. But
I've set them to just like UK because I get a lot of people from UK that watch mine, and I've set some just to UK, and I've had good success too. YouTube analytics is absolutely fantastic if you pay attention to them a lot with different things, and it's awesome.
Too much though. There's too much information there, and
Yeah,
I don't know about you. I
even
started using TubeBuddy, right?
Yeah, I do too.
You got to use TubeBuddy, right? Hey, okay, so I'm using TubeBuddy, and if you look at your YouTube, and I don't ever pay attention to it. I literally just paid attention to this for the very first time. I used to do a morning show live. Guess what? Nobody watches it live in the morning because my viewers are mostly, it says for live shows, I should be going on live at 4 p.m. or 5 p.m.
I didn't know what to
Take a
do.
look
If
at
I'm
it off
going
work.
to drop a video, and then there's another little radio button, and you said video drop. So it's either live or video. If you do video, I should be releasing videos at 11 a.m. or noon. I had that shit backwards. I'm going live at 11 a.m.
No, Wayne. That information gives it to you on that video. That information gives it to you if you have TubeBuddy and you put it on there. But like I noticed the same thing. I went back to the live stream, and of course I'm not paying attention to it, but it says that my live stream, because people typically watch at 6 o'clock which is when our live stream is. But I think that's where it is. And then my upload time, I used to think it was later in the afternoon. No, it says do it at noon.
Upload at noon. Earlier in the morning, 11 noon.
Yeah, I find like a lot of my notifications from people I follow, I'm hit the bell on. They always come in around 11 o'clock noon.
Yeah.
Y'all make me feel like I've been flying by the seat of my pants. I don't really.
Well,
I don't have TubeBuddy or I don't look at TubeBuddy or any of that. I just,
the fact that any of us got to where we're at now, doing what we're doing is a freaking miracle. It's a miracle.
That's what I say every day.
We have just succeeded by like dumb luck.
Yeah, look, there's a whole lot to be said about dumb luck, though, right? I mean, look,
I'd rather be lucky than good.
Thank you, Fabian Funko Pops, for the happy birthday. I'm trying to highlight your comment, but it's not my stream.
I mean, the only thing that's happened to me is sometimes you want to like bang your head against the wall, because things didn't quite work the way you thought they were going to. Mm-hmm. But I've never used any of those services. Never really paid that much to analytics till here recently.
Me neither.
Yeah,
I'll tell you. I did my show yesterday.
The only reason he does analytics is sometimes when we're on our Wednesday talks, we actually bring him up, and I showed him like things when you go into engagement. I think he was forcing
me to.
I'll tell him, dude, go into engagement. You look at what top playlists people are watching. Look at what top cards people are watching. Look at it tells you other things that people are watching. Traffic really source,
go to audience and look at what your audience is watching on other channels.
Other channels, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know I could do that either.
Yes, it tells you the top 10 things that they're watching that are on other people's channels.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Very funny.
How would you use that information?
Well, it depends on which are those channels that you were even aware of. Can you be pattern? If they're watching those guys and they're watching you, should you be making something similar to them so that you can piggyback right behind them? I don't know if you guys noticed, I never did a top 10 video before, and now I'm on my third week in a row of top 10 video. I am piggybacking off of
I love
Bueller. I am piggybacking off of Bueller.
I love
he releases his on Wednesday. I release mine on Thursday. If you look at them, it's the exact same set of tags. I'm going after his viewer so that when somebody watches his video, YouTube suggests mine next.
Yep. Yeah,
I do that with my titles sometimes. Sometimes I'll actually search my title on YouTube.
Doesn't really work, but hey, I'm trying it. I'm doing all the things they say to do. We'll see.
Yeah, top 10s and how-to videos are really good too, because that's something that people search all the time.
Well, I can make a how-to not start a channel.
How-to such and such.
Yeah, it's figured out.
All get together.
But I'll tell you, if you guys watch all the videos, and I know we all do, we all watch. Hey, to be successful, this is what you do. You do this.
Yeah.
Now listen. One of the things is the cards, in-screen cards. You should be sending people to other videos of yours in your in-screen cards.
Yeah,
I put a 5 every video
to everybody else. If you watch my video, there's 4 cards get used. One is for my coffee mug person. One is for the what's in the box person. One is for the push to 1,000 person. None of the cards are from my channel. Yeah. Not a good strategy.
I used to do that.
Not a good strategy.
Because I used to want to, give shout out other people. So it's like, oh yeah, check out Wayne. Oh yeah, check out Techbot. And it's like,
which is great for them, not great for your
I'm sending people away.
People on your channel. And my end screen is always sending you to the live stream playlist. Well, that's why I started leaving my content is the first item in the live stream playlist, regardless of how old it was. Because it's the only thing in the live stream playlist that's mine. Everything else is other people.
The funny thing, one of my most watched videos, it's got like 700 some views, is of my daughter making a slushie, because it was titled "How to Make." It was like how to make an easy summer slushie, something like that. I don't even know what I named it, but it was the only how-to video I had. And it was crazy. I'm like, okay, how to. I went through all my videos. We did like our cooking and all that. Everything was how to make baked chicken.
Titles are important. Titles are super important.
Clickbait is what that sounds like to me.
No, it's not clickbait, because we actually did our videos cooking meals. So it's how to cook this, and they do well. I can't wait till she comes back so we can cook some more stuff.
Hey guys, it's a lot of fun hanging out with y'all. Happy Halloween, guys. Do we have any plans for Halloween? I mean, I know JB, you said y'all were gonna have a party.
Yeah, we're having a
JKL.
party. We're gonna play a movie in the backyard when it gets dark enough. We got Hocus Pocus queued up. We're gonna have a
Nice.
couple of the
That's good.
kids from school come over because we're not letting our kids trick or treat, and we're not doing trick or treating.
Right.
So we're just gonna be in the backyard. We're gonna decorate cupcakes and all that other good stuff. Fun
Sounds
stuff
like a
for
lot
the
of
kids.
fun.
Cool.
JKO, you got something going on?
No, I'm probably gonna get my my cauldron that I use as a candy bucket, and it says "Take one" on it, and I'm gonna stand outside in my cowl with my light up mask in the dark and see if people will come take candy.
Sounds like you're going to be mugging people.
It is New York after all. Come on.
Sounds like he's going to be mugging people. I'm going to be in the dark with my
Yeah,
cowl.
I remember when I was a kid, there was this house that did the same thing. They had this big bowl and it said, please take one. I still have that bowl actually.
Yeah, you still have the bowl.
No, I'm joking.
It was you.
got
I
that
knew it was. Oh,
Chris, you're
No,
you're gonna be live what time?
9 o'clock. We're gonna take the kids out trick or treating in the neighborhood, and then probably be back around 9 o'clock.
you're
9
gonna take
o'clock.
them out at 9 and be
Take-
back at 9.
No, we're gonna take them out about 6 o'clock.
Take
We only go
Bot
out for like an
After
hour.
Dark is going to start at 9 p.m. tonight. So that's going to be Eastern time.
Yes.
So make sure we check that out. And guys, I really appreciate y'all hanging out. I'm going to
Yeah,
wrap it up. I will see y'all next Saturday if y'all are going to join.
I'll be there.
All right.
I'll be here.
Have a good one, guys.